Decided to start, hey, you're a newbie, even though you're not a newbie. You should have been up here. Unbelievable. Ryan Potvin, you should have been up here too now that I think about it. Where is Ryan? He just quit, went up. Nope, there he is. You should have been up here too. Fair enough. Okay. I'm hoping our time together will be profitable because we are going to be giving you guys a lot of time to be talking amongst yourselves. And then we want to hear back from you. But I refuse to do any type of training without just reminding us of why we do what we do. We need to be reminded before we jump into training and what do we need to do and all of the important things. We can't lose sight of the why. We can't lose sight of how important this calling is. So Tristan, if you want to throw up my first slide, before leaders need to, before they need more how to, we need to remember why they serve in the first place. And then we're going to circle back to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 58, because that's going to be kind of our verse as a leadership team for this year. But I have a video that I want to show you. Rebecca Cirillo, you'll be blessed by this. You got coffee with Lainey, and then I think you told Lainey to get in touch with me, and then me and Lainey got together, and it was so great to get coffee with a former student and to hear what God is doing. But I asked her if she would be okay to make a video for us to watch, because there's a lot of why language in there. There's a lot of, hey, God was doing this in my heart as a 10th grader. It really didn't produce fruit until I was about 26. One of them were quieter students. But when I got coffee with her, I was just like, wow. Like it literally made me leave going, what we do matters. Like what we are doing has huge ramifications, not only here on earth, but it's kingdom ramifications. So Tristan, if we got Lainey's video, let's show that.
Sunday, happy training day. My name's Lainey. I grew up at Rock Hills and got to be alive from 2013 until 2018, which makes me old. But I got to catch up with Tim just a couple months ago, and he asked if I could share kind of an update and just hopefully an encouragement to you guys as you get ready for the school year. I know that youth ministry is not always a place where you see a lot of fruit. And so just wanted to hopefully encourage you guys that what you're doing does have an impact, even if it's not one that you see this year or next year or in the next 5. That God is more faithful than we can guess. Like I said, I grew up in the church, grew up hearing the gospel. I remember in 6th grade, I got to go to Woodlands Camp with, I think it was Treehouse back then. I don't remember what it was called, but got to go to Woodlands, and that's really the first place that I'd heard the gospel clearly presented. The first place that it landed for me. And I remember they did an altar call, and I didn't want to go up because I thought I was already saved and all the things. But I remember that night, my brain just couldn't turn off, and I just kept asking myself, why did Jesus have to die? He didn't have to prove himself. And I realized it's because he loves me, and if he loves me that much, I'm going to know him. And if I want to know him, and if he is this loving, and if he did just die for me, I actually can have a relationship with him. And so I gave my life to Christ after my 6th grade year at camp, completely alone. And I don't think that I told a single person what had happened for years. Honestly, I don't think that I had processed what had happened for years. I was the student at youth group that was really quiet, really closed off, really awkward. I was homeschooled. I just didn't have deep friendships at church. I didn't connect deeply with a lot of the leadership. I had a lot of walls up. But I went to almost everything. And so I would say the Lord still used that time. There were still things that I heard that impacted me, even if there wasn't necessarily clear outward fruit. I remember my very last night at the youth group. It was the senior send-off, and everyone went around the room and shared their college plans, and then Joe Penna shared a statistic that 7 out of every 10 people who grew up in church walk away from their faith in college. I think that's the statistic. But a crazy amount of people who grew up in the faith walk away. And that just completely stuck with me, and I think really made me start thinking and just praying, like, Lord, I don't want to weaken. I want to get stronger. I want to know you more. I want to grow. So I prayed for Christian friends. And then one of the first girls that I met in college was a girl who was involved with a campus ministry. She was being discipled. She loved the Lord, wanted people to know him, and was just kind of a bridge for me into what would be the next 4 years of my life in healthy community, plugged into a local church, being discipled. I feel like God just used college in such a big way in my life to show me what it looked like to not just have a relationship vertically with him, but to also relate to the people around me and see how he's working in the world. College was so impactful to the point that when I graduated in 2022, I actually went on staff at the campus ministry, and in 2023, I got to move to Lima, Peru, to partner with a church plant and help pioneer in campus ministry in the city. So I've actually been in Peru for the past 3 years. I got to come back to the States a few months ago to raise some support, and I'm actually not with you guys in person today because I just bought my flight to go back to Lima next week. But I think just what I want to share in all of that is, like, if I were to look at me in middle school or in high school, I would have no idea that the Lord was at work. I think he is just so much more faithful than we can see and more faithful than we can guess. And he uses seeds that we plant. So I think as I'm getting ready to go back to Peru, a verse that just keeps coming to mind is Psalm 127, where it talks about how unless the Lord is the one who builds the house, the builders are laboring in vain. And I think sometimes I read that and I think, like, it's discouraging. Like, I can't build the house. I can't do the work. I can't do it good enough. I think the real hope of that verse is not me and my work as a laborer as much as it's the fact that God builds the house and that he is building his house in South America, in North America, in Alive, in college, in all of these places he is working to build his kingdom. And yeah, I just think that you guys get to be part of something really special in serving him and trusting him. And yeah, I'm thankful that you're there wanting to pour into students in the same way that people tried to pour into me 10 years ago. So wish you guys the best, praying for you guys, and I'm excited to see what the Lord will do.
Awesome. So, thank you, Becky. So, there was just moments of getting coffee with her where she was saying, Tim, by God's grace, I was able to lead 30, 40, 50 people to Christ. The future missionaries are in this youth group. The future pastors of our church are in this youth group. Now, I get it. They're not the one-day church. Student pastors love to say they're the current church. I totally get that saying, and I'm with it. But in many ways, they are still in the incubation stages of growing and maturing. It's a worthy calling. And I wish I could bring all of you with me to these coffee dates. Because the older you get in student ministry, the more alumni classes just start stacking up. And when you get coffee with these kids and hear what God's doing, never would I have imagined that for Lainey when she was in the youth group, Joe, however many years ago. It's always the sleepers. It's always those sleepers. Sometimes it's the biggest knuckleheads. I can't tell you how many conversations I had with parents who are just weeping and at their just wit's end with their students. And sometimes I have to go back to them and say, that was me. When I was 15, when I was 16, when I was 17, like God, when he gets a hold of these teenagers' hearts, it's just amazing what they can do. And God is calling you and me into an opportunity this year to change the trajectory of a kid's life by his grace to use us and to be a part of that. What a worthy calling. So the verse that we are going to be harping on a lot this school year is from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 58, that says, brothers and sisters, be strong and immovable. Always work enthusiastically to the Lord, for you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. Nothing we have done over the years for my vets has been useless, and for the newbies in the room, nothing you will do will be useless to the Lord. He will use your effort, your sacrifice, your energy, your strength, those nights that you don't want to come. And you'd rather be getting ready for work in the next morning or whatever the case will be, it's not being done in vain. The Holy Spirit will be with us as sons and daughters. And so we're going to talk about ways that we can be strong, ways that we need to be immovable. We're going to talk about ways that we need to enthusiastically work into the Lord, because we know that nothing that we are going to do will be done in vain. Can I pray for us? Father, thank you so much for the next few minutes together. I pray, Lord, that you give us wisdom on how to be concise and efficient. May this be a time that encourages my friends in this room. Lord, thank you. As I look around this room, I'm so humbled just by the incredible team you've put together for this school year, and we're really excited. Lord, we love you. We dedicate this time to you. Amen. Real quick, I want to honor someone really quick who means a lot to me. And when talking about someone who grew up in this youth group and has done incredible things for the Lord, and then was also on staff with us for how long? 4 years. Admin Gabby is no longer Admin Gabby. Now she's just Gabby. I can't tell you how much of a gift it is to see you grow up in this youth group and then serve our student ministry team so well, and then still stay with us. That's rare. I've been in ministry long enough to when you get on staff and then you're no longer on staff, you either go to a different church or you quit serving in that student ministry, and you have such a shepherd's heart, and I adore that about you. You will be sorely missed. You already are. We're doing Deeper Weekend without you, and thank God for Kareem. But we wanted to get this to you. Also, Tristan Thomas, can you stand up?
Not a Thomas.
We have a familiar face back in the world of tech. Tristan, you're just the best. It feels just at home having you back there. When you showed up at 10, I was like, I felt it's going to be okay with all this stuff. We love you. And how old is your kiddo now?
3.5 months.
3.5 months. Where is this baby?
Nathan took her home.
Okay, well, she's adorable, and we love her. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I would love to welcome up Nick, Titus, Kareen, and Steve. I want you to be up here with me. We are going to ask you 4 questions. 4 questions that we want you to talk about at your tables. I think this is a slide that I have, but in my notes it just says the best leaders aren't the ones who know the most. Listen to this, guys. The best leaders aren't the ones who know the most. Rather, they are the ones that know what matters most. They are the ones that know what matters most. So we are going to try and identify what really matters in a live student ministry. We're going to try and identify what matters to you, right? And also the things that could matter to you, but maybe don't matter to us. And there can be some conflict there. So we need to talk about these 4 questions. We want to create conversations. Sometimes the best wisdom is already in the room. Sometimes the best wisdom that we need to hear is already in the room. So some of the best learning doesn't happen from a stage, it happens from a table as leaders share stories and ask questions and learn from one another. So after you guys have discussed, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, and we all have to have thick skin. Okay, I'm asking for you to have thick skin, and here's why. Because you might answer in a way that we just don't agree with, and we need to talk about it. So you might say, the goal is to make sure these boys do 100 push-ups before they leave. Yeah, that's great. That's not why we gather on Sunday night. couldn't really care less about that. You want to do that on a Tuesday night in your push-up club? Go and do it. We're going to talk about what matters most to us. So we want to hear your feedback. We want to discuss that together. So after you've discussed, we want to hear from you. And then I think the greatest thing that we can give you is clarity. The greatest thing we can give you is clarity. Now, the orange pieces of paper at your table, that is for you, the leader. The reason why I was asking the newbies what their favorite color was is because these colors actually have meaning. Orange is the color of leadership. Did you guys know that? I think it is just because of the Orange Conference with Reggie Joyner. But they always said orange was the color of leadership. So the orange is for you. Red is for when we're talking about students. I chose red because Alive Student Ministry, the logo color is red. So here is question number 1 that we want you to talk about. Now we do have a 3-minute timer. If you need more time, just wave at us, and that's okay. Question number 1. What do we hope every life group leader does each week? What do we hope every life group leader does each week? Talk about it amongst yourselves. Newbies, just dream, think. Hopefully have to think clear before recruiting you. But, ready, set, go. Come on up here, Steve. Just give it up for Steve McHale. Okay, you got 1 minute. Okay, you guys need a little bit more time? I love it. Okay, I want to get a pen real quick. All right, we want to hear from you. What do we hope, Scotty? you're the man. I was homeschooled. I'm sorry. Just kidding. I was worse. I was private school. Okay. What do we hope every life group leader does each week? You want to get us started? Shout it real loud.
No-show growth.
I do love that. We are going to cover a little no-show grow. Thank you, Miss Rain. Now, no-show grow is a beautiful answer. That's kind of like the Jesus juke of just saying Jesus to any like biblical question. So I really respect that. We are going to cover no-show grow in just a little bit. So thank you. So great. What else? Yes, ma'am.
Greet every kid in your life group by name with a smile.
Come on! That's so important. Names are important. Hey, when I go to Walmart and the Walmart greeter is greeting me, do they ever say, "What's up, Tim?" No. They just say, "Welcome to Walmart." They don't know me. They don't care about me. They don't know my name. That is true. They do know me by name at Waffle House. That's a whole different sad story. But yes, names are important. When I grew up going to youth group and they said, "Tim, we're so happy you're here." Do you know how much that meant to me? As a 14-year-old, it's so important to know names. Not just names. I would even argue last names. To know their full name. So good, Karen. What else? Georgie.
Show up.
Yay!
And be present when you're here.
Come on. We're going to talk about the ministry of presence, the ministry of faithfulness. And when you're here, get off your phone. Get off the back wall. Be here. So important. Thank you, guys. What else?
Outside of life group, study how to work yourself, because you can't feed your kids if you don't know the truth yourself.
Come on. That's huge. Intimacy with the Lord Monday through Saturday so that you are giving out of an outpouring. You're not giving out of an empty cup. Now, are there going to be weeks where you're going to have empty cups? Of course. But we hope that's the minority versus the majority. So good, Ryan. Thank you. What else? Kara, hold on. Come up here, honey. This makes me so happy. Come here, come here, come here. Say it again. Really, really, really loud.
Respond and Planning Center.
Wow. So can I just be really real with you guys? The amount of text messages and phone calls I had to make to you unconfirmed people. Now hold on. Listen. I do know on one level it's comical. Thank you, Jade. Welcome back, Jade. Yeah.
I have a suggestion that might help everyone in the room. Set an alarm on Friday at 3 p.m. that says, "Answer on Planning Center now or don't eat dinner." Reward
I do love
yourself
that.
with food. If you can't do it at 3, pick a time when your day is free. Because Friday isn't the latest you've ever sent it, right?
Okay, all eyes right here. I know it's funny. I'm not here to babysit you. And if you need a babysitter, I'll find you a different place to serve in our church where you become their problem. If I'm just being honest. I don't want to babysit my leaders. Okay? I need you. It only takes 3 seconds. I'm not asking you to do like 50 burpees and then run 10. You're like, "Oh, it's terrible." No, just on your back, on your couch. Just respond. Now listen, I do want to encourage everyone, please put a reason in the box. If you're going to say no and you've committed to this, just tell me why. But when you just hit decline with no reason, do you know what that comes across to this? I don't care. Something else is better. And I'm going to take that priority over our students. And I'm not even going to tell you why. Now, there is some bandwidth. Like, there are so many declines that says, "It's my mom's birthday. I'd like to go to the dinner." Go to the dinner. Like, that's great. There's a lot of us in this room. But sometimes we can feel that student ministry is only when it's convenient for you. And I am asking, please make this the priority and not just something you want to come to when it just works out with your schedule. We get it, you have to wash your hair. Do that Saturday night. Let's not do that Sunday night, and that's your excuse to not come to youth group. So, Is there anything you guys want to speak into real quick before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, Kareem was starting to say this, but beyond just communicating with us and we knowing whether or not you're here or not, because honestly, on that level, I could care less. Like, if you're here, great. But why we want you here and why we want you here every week is because you're not going to be effective as a life group leader if you are not consistent. If you're here 3 or 4 times in the semester, the students absolutely will recognize that. They will talk about that amongst themselves, and you will be stiff-armed. And you might as well not come, because you're not going to be effective. And you're just going to be that leader that comes every once in a while. And they'll be friendly with you, but you are not going to be able to pour into their lives on a spiritual realm if you are not consistently here. Which might mean, crap, I can't go to my mom's birthday dinner, because why? They know that I serve on Sunday nights. Now, I'm not saying don't go to your mom's. Like, there are important things, and it's okay. It's okay to not be here occasionally, but if you are grappling with whether or not I should do this other thing over student ministry, then I would say your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, and let me just tell you too, a shift the Lord has done in my heart. You're not dealing with an old veteran of a youth pastor now. You're actually dealing with a dad. I've got my own flesh and blood in 7th grade. So 7th grade guys, if you're gonna flake out on my boy, which I don't think you are because you look like winners, but I just kind of view it a little different now that I wish I would have as a 28-year-old youth pastor. I didn't view them like they were my own flesh and blood some ways, right? So I think we've made ourselves clear, but we really, Benny, I'm gonna get to you in a second, after Steve-O, but we really wanted to drive this home, that it's almost become cute to leave yourself unconfirmed, and we're gonna kind of wage war on that pretty hard this school year.
Only thing I would say, I'm speaking maybe from the worship side of things, but I'm going to quote one of my favorite movies, "Attitude reflects leadership." So if we want our students to have a heart of worship and an attitude of worship, we have to show up and be present.
So good. Ben,
Okay,
shout it loud.
maybe it's just me, just an idea, and I'm curious if anyone else thinks this would be helpful. But many of the messages you guys send are informational, like, hey, we're coming to the end of summer, deeper weekends coming, here's some stuff to know. It's not exactly like a, you gotta confirm this email. Can you put at the bottom, like, the confirm, deny is for this specific thing? Because it's always gonna say 7 p.m.
No, it's super helpful. So, if there's ever a week that it's just informational, like I'll give you an example. Let's say we have a week coming up where we don't have a live. And I say, hey guys, X, Y, Z, all this stuff, and I'll put in big caps, we have no alive this week. Some people will actually hit decline and say, hey Tim, no alive this week. And I'm like, did you even read the email? Like, you're not informing me. If you have read it, just hit confirm. And that makes me go, sweet, they got the information, we know. I would also say, hey guys, if you can, like if you read the email and it's not asking you to physically be at youth group on Sunday night, if it's just an information accept or decline, just hit confirm so we know. Great question, Ben. Anything with that, team?
I was just going to real quick build on what some of my fellow staff members have said about attending. I can't tell you how many times I'll ask a student, I'll be like, hey, remind me who your life group leaders are again. And they'll be like, they might name one that stands out, and they'll be like, I don't know, and they'll look at their friends and say, wasn't there somebody else? I think there was, but he or she is not there, or I haven't seen them in a while. Maybe they were there. And I feel bad because I know, and I tell the students all the time, that every single one of their life group leaders are here because they want to be here, because they have a heart for the next generation, and they're excited about pouring into it. They're giving up their free time. Many of you guys work full-time, Monday through Friday, and so of your 2 days off, you're giving up time to be here for them, and they're not recognizing that, or maybe they don't know you because you're not investing in them, or to Tim's point, you've gone to 7 birthday parties this semester, or whatever it might be. Not that birthday parties aren't important, they are. Or whatever else you have to do. Life gets in the way, we get that. That's not the issue, but like be intentional, confirm to be here, and then be here with your mind as well.
Yeah, and sometimes I think the greatest declines I've ever gotten, this is just low-hanging fruit, so I think good life group leading, something we expect every week. I love when a leader hits decline and says, hey, out of town for work, but don't worry, I had my kids over for dinner Thursday night. Well, that's no-show grow. Like, that's a leader going, hey, I recognize life happens, I wasn't there, but Tim, I'm trying. I'm doing something, because here's what can be really hard. What can be really hard is in the school year is if we have youth group, and let's say you weren't there, and then we have a no alive, you're not expected to be there, and then you miss that next one. You've gone almost a month without having a face-to-face with that kiddo. So one of the ways I want to challenge you guys is if we are coming off a no alive, please, please, please try and be at youth group that next week. You just have the week off. Try and be there. If not, anything you can do to get in our ears to say, but this is what I'm trying to do to compensate for it. Tim, this is quintessential no-show grow. I think that's pretty awesome. So, anything else in that world before we move on? Margaret?
I was just gonna say, probably send a text to and let the kids know that you're not there.
I can't tell you how many leaders or students will come to us and go, where's so-and-so? And we're like, I don't know. Just shoot them a text. I feel like the mom with that deadbeat dad's like, why isn't dad at my birthday party? You're like, I don't even return my text. Like, so that's huge. Like, if you can shoot them a text, letting them know as well, massive. Did I see a hand over here? Yeah.
Just me personally, like I'm scanning through emails and stuff, and I got the information, and then the yes no is at the very bottom. And a lot of times I've read the information, and I just didn't go low enough. I don't know if you can send out just a simple yes no text. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Nick's working on me less words in an email. Maybe.
Or the yes no at the top of it or something. So I'm just full of emails and sometimes I'll
I know it's gonna hurt that finger. Just go on your mouse. It'll get you there. Alan, I appreciate that transparency. No, so here, Kareem is, if it's from Planning Center, just hit accept or decline. All right, let's move on. Yes, and if you can just call me and be like, it is tough. I'm with you. All right, what else? What do we hope thanks a lot, Kara, for opening that can of worms. What do we hope every life group leader does each week? What else? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay, hold on to that. We heard ask good questions. That's going to come in question number 4 about questions. What else? What do we hope a life group leader does each week? Can I give you some of my thoughts? Maybe you guys can jump in and give yours. Look at your group me. Look at your group me. Does everyone have the Group Me app downloaded and receiving communication from Tim?
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand if you have no idea what I'm talking about with Group Me. Beautiful, beautiful. Great. Okay. Today, download an app called Group Me. It's one word. We have you guys in the appropriate gender life group grade. And that is going to be my main way of communicating to you throughout the week outside of the Planning Center email, but it's how I'm going to get the teaching outlines to you. Now, Nick has a different way of doing that with middle school, but with high school, if you guys remember our May leadership team meeting, the number one question I kept getting was, you keep saying, look at the teaching outline, where do we go to get it? You have too many places to go and get it. Raise your hand if you guys remember this conversation. Good. And remember, we landed on Group Me. Okay, so be checking Group Me for communication. Be somewhat familiar of where we are going with teaching. Now, I get it. There are moments that Tim sends out the teaching outline, and Tim's cutting the grass on Saturday, and Tim does a 180. I get it. I know that cannot be super helpful. I'm going to try and be very consistent to the Proverbs teaching flow that we have. If you're a high school leader, that is on your table. of where we are going teaching-wise for this year. Now, if there is a moment where you look at my life group questions and you go, these are just really dumb questions. You're not hurting my feelings. I'm trying, guys, look how hard it is of what I'm doing. I'm making a sermon and then giving questions from 9th through 12th grade, guys and girls. I'm not gonna knock it out of the park with every life group. So if you look at my questions while we're sitting in here and you're off your phones, you're actually dialed into what I'm teaching, write down your own brilliant questions because you know your kids better than we do. Is that not wild? Like, we're on student ministry staff getting paid, but yet volunteers know the kids better than we do. So is that helpful, empowering to you to say, hey, Tim, love you. One of your maybe 7 questions was helpful. I actually scratched it, went with a different set of questions. Great. Now, let me just speak into what we hope you do every week is not make it about something else every Sunday night. Nick, I don't know if you want to speak into this a little bit. I'm fine as life group leaders if something happened in your group that demands the attention. Let me give you a crazy example. You come to group, let's say Paul Hobbs goes to group, one of your seniors, their dad died. And it was unexpected. Make life group about that. I'm good. But if it's every week you are not talking about what we are discussing and teaching, that is not hitting the bullseye for us, okay? We want you guys to hear what we have to say and then help them process it in life groups.
Yeah, so I've done student ministry a lot of different ways, different nights, different formats. This is one that I've talked with other student pastors about that they would like to get to, in that we're able to do large group teaching and small groups at the same time, which the challenge with us doing this is that is a ton to pack into one evening. However, there's a lot of value. And so the value and the goal and the reason why we do worship and teaching and then life groups is so that you can together work through and break down what Tim's teaching or what I'm teaching or Titus or whoever else is teaching. So that is the goal. And so I want, first off, for you to hear that and know that. But there's also flexibility with your life group. Maybe something's happening, and Tim kind of mentioned this just a second ago. And so, if you go through and you're like, man, we really need to talk about this because our guy, he's dealing with X topic. That's great, whatever. If there's something that comes up, somebody asks a question, and it totally derails the conversation, but it's good, healthy, productive growth, great. But if you come in with a plan to teach, well, first off, if you come in with a plan to teach, you're already not hitting the bullseye.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in question 4.
But if you come in with a plan to teach something or talk about something that is completely different than what we're doing here, then if we were going to do that effectively, then we might as well move life groups to a different night so that you have plenty of time to have life group discussion about something else and they're there to focus on. But that's not what we're doing.
Yeah, and we've heard student feedback, and I go to students and go, how was life group? And they go, well, we didn't really even get to talk about the passage because we talked about prom coming up this week. And I'm like, prom? Like, that's great, but do that during dollar dinner. Do that up here while you're playing ping pong. You guys kind of smell what we're stepping in? Okay, good. Next thing. Silent roll call. What do we expect every life group leader to do each week? Silent roll call. Now, here's what you have to understand is very important about silent roll call. I think I shared this in last week's training. Gabby, you'll remember this. I had 2 parents sit in my office and chew my butt out because it was a long time. I think it was like 8 or 9 weeks. The dad looked at me and went, how is my kid coming to your youth group and sat in the bathroom for 9 straight weeks and you didn't know? And I went, kid's a sinner? Like what do you say? And I went, okay, that's unacceptable. If Judah went to a youth group and after 9 weeks, Judah somehow got away with sitting on a toilet not to use the bathroom, but just to sit there because he didn't want to go to life group, that's a problem. So, you are our eyes, you are our ears. If a kid checks in, you will get the roster, and then just look at the roster and look at your kids. Now, this can happen while other life group leaders are asking good questions, but if a kid is on your list and not in the room, me or Nick need to know as soon as possible. No more, oops. Tim, I'm so sorry. I get it. Mistakes are going to happen, but this is something we expect every week to happen.
Yeah. So Sarah Green does a fantastic job with our check-in, and she takes care of everything. If you're in middle school, there is a table in the community room. As soon as you walk in the double doors, she usually comes in and sets them there. Send one of your life group leaders, even one of your kids, grab the paper, take it to life group. I'm not sure where she sets it for high school. I think maybe back on the bar. She puts them in your room. Oh, well, that's fantastic. Then you can't miss it. It's literally already in your room. Take the piece of paper, go through. Yes, all my kids are here. If they're all here, you know what you need to do with that form? Throw it in the trash. I don't need it, okay? Go through that, and if there's somebody who's not in your group, or they're on the list and they're not there, pull out your phone. If you're in high school, text Tim, hey, Blake's not here. Okay, well now I'm gonna go find Blake and see where he is. Oh, well he's talking to somebody who'll be there in a second. Or Blake was a friend of Blaine's and they're in a different grade and they happen to be in the wrong life group. We found it out.
Yeah, and it's so helpful. Like when you guys let us know, I call mom, I call dad, and the mom will go, hey, I'm so sorry, he had to get home early for
Whatever.
do you guys need to know? And I go, yeah. So it even helps our communication with mom and dad. Can I honor two people who are really great at silent roll call? If you ever need little tips or tricks. Joe Henry, are you in this room? Oh, he's working. Yeah, he'll be in here soon. Joe Henry is killer at it. Hannah, you're great at it too. I feel like every week. And what's really great about silent roll call is sometimes you say, hey, so-and-so's not in here. And I go, I just saw them walk into a life group room. And then I go and look, and the kid's in a different life group. And we go, whoa, hey, 8th grade boy, why are we with 10th grade girls? That's a little weird. Like, you're helping us make sure the monkeys aren't running the circus.
Well, it helps us with a couple of things. In this
Good for that 8th grade boy.
Yeah. So, legitimately what happens is a girl comes with another friend, they go to the wrong life group because the friend's in a different grade. That's typically what happens. And then we sort it out and let them know, hey, if you want to join our life groups consistently, you need to be in the appropriate grade because there's no relapping senior year. The other piece of it is maybe you have a student that's in your room who's not on your list. Write that down or shoot us a text so that we know. And it could be the friend that's in the wrong life group, or it could be that they didn't check in at all somehow. But JD and Tyler are killer at making sure nobody walks through those doors without a name tag, so it's happening less and less and less.
Oh yeah, they're killing it.
But it really does help us communicate with parents in how we run life groups, making sure everybody's in the same group, the right place. It just boosts all of that.
Okay, I'm gonna give one more, but anything else popping into your hearts and minds about this question?
Stay quiet and let the students talk.
Save that for question number 4. That's how to lead an effective small group. We're going to come back to that. Last one. I'm going to get better at taking a picture of the first time guest card and asking for one of you to reach out. Okay? Here's what's tricky about our job. We're only as effective and only as strong as you. Kids can love us, but if they're not digging their life group, they're just not coming. They can think certain things are great about youth pastor, but if it's not happening with you guys as the primary spiritual fathers and mothers, it's going to be an uphill battle. So I'm going to get better at taking a picture of first-time guest card. I'm still going to follow up. I shoot mom and dad a text. I woo them. Oh, your kid's so wonderful. Please send them back. Even though I didn't remember meeting the kid, but I'm trying to make mom know we know your kid was here. Do you know how awesome it would be if you would reach out to the first-time guest too? Hey, guys, how hard is it to do life groups the way we do? Think if you were an adult and you just got randomly placed for a night in an adult life group who had been together since 7th grade. Think about how weird that would be for you. You're comfortable, you've known these kids forever. The kids are comfortable, they've known each other since they were at the academy and kindergarten. But sometimes if we have a kid walk into this room and they don't know anyone, we need to smother them in love. We need to now some kids are gonna hate it, but deep down I know they love it. But how great would it be to get a text from Suze Rudy? Hey Samantha, we loved having you. We hope you come back next week. That's no show growth. So we're gonna try and do a really good job of trying to follow up with first time guests. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, Team Money.
All right, real quick on that note. Just as a guy that just came out of seniors, I think there's two different students who, you may have students in your life group who don't go to North Hills, like their families don't go to North Hills. Know that happens. There's a lot of times I'll talk to a team like, yeah, do your parents come here? No, they go to another church. I just ended up here with my friends. Two of those students that just graduated, that I know of, and there may be more, are now coming here because they've been encouraged, like, hey, get involved in the church.
And they want to become members.
They want to become members, and then mom and dad are coming. So not that we're trying to steal people from another church, but
yeah, we are.
But know that that can happen, and I love that happens because a lot of times that means mom and dad may not have been super connected over there, but hey, guess what? You're loving on their kid, and they're like, I want to be a part of that group. So.
Ooh, I got goosebumps. That's good. Yeah, Steve.
Just on the silent roll call, does every group have a designated person to do silent roll call? If you don't, that is something that probably could happen tonight or today. So Tim knows, or Nick knows. I'm getting silent roll call from this person, and if I don't see them,
SRC. Good, Steve-O.
Yeah.
So good. All right, anything else before we get to question 2?
The only other thing I would say is pray for your kids. Every week, just pray for your kids.
That's coming up in question 3.
I don't know.
But we can't say it enough, Nicholas. Prayer, it's important. No, Nick, I didn't mean to steal your thunder with that. I do think, Ryan Potnick, you killed it with intimacy with the Lord Monday through Saturday, right? It's so important. Pray for your kiddos. Nick, I love that. Okay, question, yeah, one more. If all your kids are there and you're not missing any, throw it away.
If you made any edits, turn it in. If you didn't make any edits, throw it out.
That's it. Yep. All right, moving on. Question number 2. What kind of culture are we trying to create? Now, what kind of culture are we trying to create? What kind of culture are we trying to create on our leadership team? What kind of culture are we trying to create with students? Remember, orange piece of paper, leaders, red piece of paper, students. What kind of culture are we trying to create? 3 minutes, go.
Good to know.
Hey everyone, turn around and say, "What's up, Pastor Peter Hubbard?" And Connor Hubbard. Oh, I mean, JD and Tim, you're behind the scenes people. Safety team at its finest. All right, 1 minute, 23 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. We would love to hear your answer to this question. It doesn't matter, leaders or students, just make sure you let us know specifically. Oh, well, let's do that. Let's do leaders first. Let's do orange pieces of paper first. That'll bring good clarity. Okay, leaders. What kind of culture are we trying to create? Got anything?
We said genuine community, like actually.
Loud. Say it louder. She said genuine community. Good.
Gospel-centered care.
Good. Yes. Gospel-centered care. We'll dive into a little bit of that in question 3, so hold on to that one.
Transparency. I don't know if
Good. Okay, so you just hit one of the ones on my list. Can we talk about transparency real quick? Okay, here's the kind of culture we are making sure that we want to create when it comes to being a shepherd of our students. By being full of the Holy Spirit and showing wisdom, in some areas, we need to be careful what we share with students. We need to be careful what we share with students. Reminder, the students are not here for us. We are here for them. So how awkward would it have been when I was in the car with Judah and Levi, and Rachel and I, the morning before, we were talking finances. We're trying to figure out how to pay for braces for both boys. We're trying to figure out how to pay for all 3 co-ops. Like, Rachel came to me with like $10,000 worth of stuff. And I was like, honey, could you have given me a little bigger head? I could have budgeted. So we were talking about it, but I think one of our kids hurt us when we were in the kitchen. So later that day when we were in the car, Levi goes, do we have enough money? And I was like, oh, that little turd. Like, he was listening. Did I turn to him and go, let me tell you, your mother's a stay-at-home mom for about 2 more weeks. Like, no, I didn't talk to my kids about finances. Okay, crummy analogy, but I think you smell what I'm stepping in. Hey, if you're going through marital problems with your husband or wife, these rooms it's not for them to hear you talk about those things. Okay? Yeah, if you have those problems, regen, re-engage. We have all sorts of things, platforms for you to talk about those things. But yes, transparency. When it's appropriate and when it actually is hitting the bullseye of some of the things that we will be talking about on Sunday night. So we need to show incredible wisdom. We need to know what's going to be helpful or hurtful. So many times Rachel has looked at me and gone, hey Tim, when helping hurts, I think I'm helping, but I'm actually kind of hurting. Anything you guys want to add to that? Okay. Thank you, Jeff, for that transparency.
I think it's important, or it's okay, to let our students know that there are things that we struggle with, because otherwise it can seem like they have to strive for perfection, like their leaders, because their leaders never struggle. And I think it's okay to give just a very high level, 30,000 foot view. I wrestle with fill in the blank, or like I too can struggle with blah blah blah, or I have in the past, and then leave it at that. We don't want to give this idea of perfection because
100%.
none of us are perfect, right? If we were perfect, our name would be Jesus. So
Yes, what she just said times a million. We don't want to be like fake it till you make it. Hey, a guy or girl life group leader, hey, do you struggle with porn? Listen, we got to let them know sin's always crouching at the door. Satan wants to seek and kill and devour us. But we don't get into other things that are not for their ears when it can come to that world. Nicholas?
Well, and I think kind of building on what Jeff's pointing at is you can have more openness and clarity with each other as leaders. If you're like, hey man, we're really struggling with X, be praying for us in our marriage or whatever it is. And when appropriate, use pieces of what your experiences are to show your humanness, show your realness to your students, to foster that openness and that communication and that clarity. But just to express or use wisdom with what and how you share with students.
Good. All right, what else? Yes, ma'am.
I think this can go for both, but it's more like what Connor was talking about today, like being a culture of bodies, people who, like our love for Jesus pours out into our love for others.
I do love that. One of the things I do have in my notes about creating a culture is we want to be enthusiastic. So that's coming from our verse, right? About being enthusiastic. Hey guys, I want to create a culture that we are happy to be here. I love the analogy that Connor gave about the fountain. Like, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength is the pump of the fountain, and the overflow is loving your neighbor as yourself. That was such good imagery for me. When these kids come through the door, a culture that we want to really hit as a student ministry is whatever we're doing. Hey guys, can I tell you what drives me crazy with culture? When we're worshiping, worship with the students.
Amen.
We don't want you in the back.
Yes.
We don't want you in the back. We don't want you on your phones. We don't want it. Discipleship is caught, not taught.
Yes.
You want them to worship? It starts in this room.
Yes. They're watching you.
That's culture, right? So it's big. They're watching. It's not for us to watch them. We're in the trenches with them. So that's a big culture thing. Mary Beth, so good. What else? Yeah.
We're talking about the sharing. So what if like you're in a group and one of the students says, hey, parents are going to take course and start sharing themselves, like do we kind of shut them down and say, hey, we can talk about that topic, or we let them just talk, or like
So Jennifer's saying, what if you're in a group and a kid hijacks in a good way, not a bad way? Like let's say we're talking about Proverbs chapter 9, which is on the tongue. But then the kid brings up, well, my parents are going through a divorce. And you don't want to ignore it. This is just me. I would say, hey, first off, we always want to thank them for sharing. It takes guts to speak up. And I always say, hey, thank you so much for sharing that. I would love to follow up with you over coffee, after youth group, next week at Dollar Dinner. Save that. Will you save that for me? And then when group's over, hug around the neck. If they're playing Night Square after life group, that'd be a great time to let that happen. Yeah.
sometimes also really enjoy being able to shift the conversation is to say, can we pray for that? And that includes that space to pray, and then you can move the conversation elsewhere.
I do that with Rachel sometimes. Hey, can we pray for that? And I just pray, and I think we move on. Tim, you've been really grouchy this week. Can we pray for that? I'm just kidding. No, that's really good. That's really good. All right, what else? And I got a couple. Karen.
Pursue the lonely one.
That's good.
And I would love to encourage all of you to be a little bit overly forceful. Kareem was a great example of this. Jay went to SLU. They sat boys in the front, girls in the back, and she was like, everybody out. Girl, boy, I don't care where you want to sit. Get over there. So if you see a kid
And
sitting
Jack.
back by themselves,
You do
like,
have
hey, you need to come here now. Come on. Pick them up. Oh, I'll get your phone. If you pick up your kid's phone off a chair next to them, they're going to chase you down.
That's good.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you guys just put,
Oh, that is true.
give them a shove, guys.
Thank you, Karen. So good. Hey, can I give you one of mine? This is one of mine. Hey, the culture, this is for the red piece of paper that we are going to create and we are going to wage some war on is, where is it in my notes? No gossip, no drama. All eyes, yeah, this is among leaders. Obviously, with students, we're going to be in the trenches with that. Hey, all leaders, all eyes on me. If you want to gossip about something, go for it. It's a sinful, least effective way to get change on this leadership team. If there's murmurs, if there's griping and there's complaining, I've got this much bandwidth for you. If you say, hey, Tim, can me and you have a time to talk? I hope if you've been serving with me long enough, I will give you my ear. But one of the things that we are trying to create as a culture on the orange piece of paper for us is if you're bringing gossip and drama, the door is right there. Don't let the good Lord hit you or he split you. Okay? Can I be any more clear with that? Tyler?
Do you want to explain the difference between gossip and sharing important information?
Loose lips sink ships? Yeah, so if you are sharing important information, show incredible wisdom with who that is. And having that, that humility. I have learned as I've grown in leadership in some of the ranks of North Hills, I've never regretted keeping my mouth shut. But there's many times I've had to do damage control with running this thing. So I'm just going to be a little honest. My wife was a part of something that this leadership team was doing together. And Rachel is not very involved with our student ministry. We don't want her involved in this student ministry. She would be screaming at the kids. It would not be good. Her heart is in the littles with kid stuff. Like she's serving in our church. This isn't for her. But she was a part of something our team was doing. This was several months ago. And Rachel, when we were driving home, said, well, I was with some of the people on your leadership team and I found out all the latest gossip. Man, your leaders love to talk. I went, dang. Okay. Like, well, that sucks. You know, like, share a little more, honey. Like, I think she was kind of giving me, being my eyes and ears going, man, your team talks. And you were kind of the brunt of some of that crap. And it took me this much to keep my mouth shut. So, there are moments that we need to vent and we need to talk about things, but there's the right way to do it and there's the wrong way to do it. That's the culture we're trying to create. Ben?
The exception being child safety related things.
We're going to cover that, me and Heather, in just a second. Attaboy. Yeah.
And if you're going to complain about something, come with a solution. Offer some advice. Don't just complain about how something's broken. Try to come up with a creative way to solve it.
Good, Wes. Yeah.
I think part of that is being accountable to each other, which would also go into this question. It's just, it's not about being aggressive or want to confront everybody. But it's important for us to know that in order to create a group of people that are God-centered and that love each other, when we see or hear something that's wrong, we have to be accountable of it and also speak the truth at that time. Sometimes, like you said, it's good to just be quiet.
Good.
I practice that too, but sometimes we have to say it.
Yeah. I wear my heart on my sleeve, so that's gotten me in a lot of trouble. Yes?
Can I add? I think there's two, I just got like two helpful questions, or one's a thought. It's like, number one, that's not my story to tell. I've talked to my kids about like, I'll know a friend's story, one of their friend's story, because we've known their family for years. And I'll just have to say, that's not my story to tell. Maybe someday they'll share that with you, right? And this is my kid, right? So sometimes it's not our story to tell. Number two, I'm not a part of the solution, right? So if I'm not part of the solution, I probably shouldn't be talking about it.
Good. All right, what else? Culture, and then I've got one other thing, and we're moving on with Heather for our child safety window, because that is a culture we want to create here.
The only other thing I would add to that is the students know. If there's gossiping among the leaders, and even though we're adults and we try to hide it or keep it quiet or whatever, they pick up on it. They know. And similar to what Connor was talking about today, how things trickle down from the source, that's going to permeate your life group as well.
It's huge.
I got one thing.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys are doing this or not, so someone can shut me up if you are doing this. But I think it would be super cool for the leaders, maybe not once a month, but maybe once a quarter, just the leaders of your group go out together. I think what is evident to a student is that, like mom and dad, we're on the same page no matter what. If we're talking to the kid, it's together. It's not, mom said this and dad said that, I have no clue what's going on. When the student shows up in the group and the leaders are tight, you can't break that. So give it a shot.
Huge. Thank you, Steve. Culture is, if you've been in North Hills for 2 seconds, you know child safety is massive. So please welcome the wonderful, the talented, the marvelous Heather McKay. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, Heather is on staff with our church. You're the administrative assistant to all things executive team. Is that right? I love that they get to choose their titles and they throw in the word executive, which is, I want to be the executive student pastor. But you are one of the most unsung heroes when it comes to child safety. You and Ryan Ferguson are pretty much the bloodline, and then me and Ruthie bring the support and the execution of it. But can we cover some child safety things culture-wise that'll be important? Now, I love when Ryan Ferguson says this because it's a good reminder for me. In order to discuss child safety, we are forced to recognize that children get hurt. If children didn't get hurt, we wouldn't have to do child safety. So this is why this is really important. So Heather, will you cover a couple things culture-wise for child safety?
This one. Yes. Oh, it is, okay. First thing I want to point out is we have a training coming on September 12th with Grace, the organization, Godly Response to Abuse in Church Environments, I think is what it stands for. And that is going to be required for everybody in here, right, Tim?
What's that?
Is September training required for everyone in here?
Yeah.
It's from 9 to 1.
It is strongly, strongly encouraged. Please, please, please.
For those who can't make it, what is our
From what has been communicated to me, it will be recorded and you can make it up. But we don't like sharing that because it just gets taken advantage of. So,
Right, and it's long, you don't want to make that up.
Can you say the date again?
September 12th. From 9 to 1.
And they're serving us lunch or no?
Snacks and coffee.
Snacks and coffee, people, don't miss it. You have to watch it online, you don't get to eat
that went from
snacks
such
and coffee.
disappointment to getting on board. So, no, let's get excited.
That
was great, man. Okay, and then Heather, I would love for you to cover child safety reminders. Like, obviously for the newbies, some of this isn't gonna feel like a reminder. This is fresh stuff. For some of us vets who have been doing this year after year, we need to be reminded of these important things. So,
Okay, for all of the old schools, what is the most important thing with child safety? No one-on-one. If a student wants to talk with you after life group, public place, let someone know where you are, no closed doors, windows, all the things.
can I talk about that real
Yeah.
quick? Hey, this actually happened at summer celebration this last week. There was a girl who needed to talk about actually 2 different situations. The launch room is a great place for you to go and talk to students because there's windows everywhere. You can see in. So let's not villainize anyone, because I think there was like, I'm not going to name names, but I had to take a couple different girls in there, and every time I would have other women come up and go, and I'm like, yeah, nothing's happening, you're looking in, we're right here. So one-on-one is in a maintenance closet with no windows, right?
Yeah.
One-on-one would not be in a room that has windows. This room was specifically designed with child safety in mind.
It also wouldn't be in the lobby of the building E where no one else is, even though it's an open space. People have to be around. Any questions about that? Okay. The other thing is when you want to get together with a student outside of a Lifetimes. Great. You may not drive them. And a parent must
You can't
know.
drive them one-on-one.
Correct.
Yeah.
One-on-one. And a parent has to know. And are we still locking that? And we should let you know? Is that what you
Yeah,
prefer
if
still?
you want to get together outside of Alive, just shoot me a text, make sure mom and dad know. There's power in numbers. I can have kids in my car as long as there's not me and the 10th grade girl. It could be me, 10th grade girl, 2 other girls, and 1 dude. There's power in numbers. So no one-on-one in the car.
Yep. But going to Starbucks or a lunch place or whatever is totally fine. Public place, drive separate, let the parents know, make sure it's cool. Also, keep it gender appropriate. Pilar should not be taking my son Chase out. That's pretty common sense, right?
Yeah, one of the things I like to say is, hey guys, men in the room, you were recruited to pursue my boys. Ladies in the room, you were recruited to go after the girls of this youth group. Now that doesn't mean there's not going to be moments where George Zitlaw is not going to speak in to a senior girl in life group or have moments here. But just keep that in mind that, guys, we weren't here to ask the 11th grade girl out for coffee. Yeah.
And if you have questions, number one, all of our policies are on the website under students, I think. Good luck finding
Yes.
it. I can't figure out our new website, but it's there. And then I'm happy to answer questions too. Text me, email me, whatever. And then the last thing is if you are new this year and you have not completed our child safety process, you may not come to the First Alive or Deeper Weekend until that is completed. Just a friendly reminder.
Yeah. So if you are a newbie and you're in the pipeline and you got to get stuff done and you also want to go to Deeper Weekend, those two don't hold hands. There's no like, oh, hey, it's no big deal. We'll get it done after Deeper Weekend. And we shake hands. I can't do that. I like my job. I'm going to keep it. So, huh? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, thanks. What does that mean? Actually, no, what less say? So if you're a newbie and you're still in the pipeline, don't leave here without having a conversation with us if you've not had your final interview with me. Okay? Can we give it up for the wonderful Miss Heather? Okay, question number 3, and we're going to do this. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
You did a great job by seeing something and saying something while this went on. I can't help but just say we had to deal with a lady that was undressed in the bathroom while y'all were in here with kids, and that's why I haven't been in here for the last hour. But the perfect example was, hey, there's a lady not wearing proper clothing in the bathroom right after we finished eating. That's why I haven't been here for an hour. Mentally ill. We had kids, then she's cussing us out in the cafe. We moved more kids out. So what we're going over here is awesome about seeing something, saying something, following these policies. We had a parent stay with that child. Is that person in here? Sorry. Yeah, she stayed
Dana,
because
rock
she knew it was a
star.
problem while we were kind of figuring out the solution. So stood with the minor that was in the bathroom, let the minor finish her business, and then we dealt with it very smoothly, pushed people away and handled it. So she did a great job, you did a great job finding me, or whoever's else, whether it's crowd control, safety, doesn't matter. So props off for that. It happened while we were training today. Second thing is, could you go over very quickly about the badges? I don't want that to get missed with the new people. The difference in a high school badge, a middle school badge,
That's good.
and who's a leader. Because our guys on crowd control, Barry, is he here? Anybody else on
No,
crowd control?
he asked if he needed to be here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if everybody kind of just, when you're older, everybody looks young. I'm just going to say it for what it is, right? So what's a high school senior versus a leader? I have no clue sometimes if I don't meet you guys. and the guys that are doing crowd control are not here today, and they're not gonna know. So it's important to have a leader badge on. It's important for the high school badges. There's a difference in those and the middle school, so we're not mixing those two groups. And you're kind of keeping an idea of who's who from a safety standpoint.
Good. Everyone, wear your lanyard. If you don't have a lanyard, let me know. We will get one made for you. The middle school name tags are solid black. High school is the normal solid white.
Yep.
So if you see a kid who's wearing a solid black, and let's say we have dismissed middle school and it's just high school in here, and you were to see one with a lot of black on it, that's when you go, hey, you're actually in 8th grade. Get out of here. And they go, oh no. And they go. And it's great. But when they were all white, it was hard to tell who was in middle school, who was in high school. So that's good. Yes, ma'am.
About communication with our kids. Because I know we have our girls love to put us in a group chat with them. They're texting 90 miles an hour. And sometimes they'll text us individually. We have calls, like specific things for texting individually, like is it okay sometimes,
Yeah.
not okay at all.
Heather, you can correct me. It's fine for us to text with our life group kiddos. Yeah. I mean, if you were to look at my phone, it's teenagers. Tons. Now, I do think it is very different if a kid sends me a text and says, hey, what time is Deeper Weekend? Well, that's easy. Noon. But I'm not discipling through text. So, and again, especially if it's a girl. Like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. If that, let's say, and guys, we have a weird job for men that are on student ministry. We deal with the young ladies in our flock. We love them. But if a kiddo is wanting to get deep into the weeds of things through text, I'm just showing wisdom. I'm not doing that. I will then let mom and dad know that this is what's going on. She wants to get together with me. We finally grab coffee one time. But I'm letting them know. I'm not discipling through text, but it's fine for us to be communicating with our kids they DM me all the time on Instagram. I mean, I'm not trying to avoid them. I want them interacting, but that's fine. Yeah.
But what is that interaction look like? Sometimes I try to keep it professional, but I guess they're being check on them like, hey, how are you doing? Or is it fine for them to send gifts and stuff, like casually, really casual? What does that look like with responding?
I mean, I get gifts all the time, and then I laugh at it, and then I probably just don't respond. Remember, we're in the driver's seat, not them. So, I mean, I should show you, like, the Snowbird group thread from July is still in here, and I'm sure I'm 200 texts deep, and it's just stupidity, the whole thing. I just don't even respond. So, yeah, just show wisdom and discernment with that, Kareem.
I was just going to encourage you that sometimes there needs to be at least a little bit of discipleship through text. It's not just, a one-word answer here and there. I think that the wisdom comes in being accountable, like Tim said, and joining with other people. So I have occasion, I do need to deal with some of the male students with SLU and with the Alive Teaching Forum and things like that. And oftentimes what I'll do is I'll include another male leader. So in this case, it might be Paul Hobbs. I'll put Paul Hobbs and the student and me on the text, or Titus and me and the student on the text. So I just have some accountability there, and I'll let Tim know, hey, I've been texting with this student or whatever. Accountability never hurts. Especially if, I know with the seniors, you have combined genders, and there's times when you need to text both of them. So just, or even if it's just one of the same gender, sometimes pull in another, say, hey, I'd love to pull in this other life group leader. I've done that with Hannah Green before, and Heather McHale, and just other ones, where we've just joined together and partnered together with the
Love
text.
it. Good. Okay. Yes, sir.
I think we probably need to kind of cover how leaders should interact when you see the guy with his arm around the girl, and it's an awkward thing to test for everybody.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give?
If you see PDA, or you see what you deem as a dress code infraction, which we don't have a dress code, don't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Come to me, come to Nick, we will deal with it. Hey Tim, there's two in the back, they're cuddle worshiping. Hey, thank you. We will deal with that. We are not delegating that to you. Okay? As far as dress code, I'm going to remind everyone what we do with dress code real quick. If someone comes up on in here and they've got the spaghetti straps and all the things, I've got boys, I don't have daughters, I don't know how it works. Come to me. I will then call mom. I'm getting on the same page with mom and dad going, hey, we feel like this is pushing the envelope. Hey, Kurt, are you good with this? If they're good with it, then Elder Tim comes in and I'm now discipling adults. Most of the time. Dana empowered me. Like there was something going on. She saw the Instagram picture of the group, DM'd me and said, I told my girl not to pack that. And I went, okay, dude. And I went on behalf of Dana. It wasn't going on behalf of Tim. Do you know how weird that would be to a 15-year-old girl for 41-year-old Tim to talk about what they're wearing? But if I go over and go, hey, mom doesn't want you wearing it, I'm coming with a different authority that they're going to respond to. So, PDA, dress code, me and Nick. Me and Nick we'll handle it. We good? Okay. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I feel like we have nailed question 3 with a lot of spillover about what does succeeding look like. Are we good if we go to question 4? Tristan, can we go to question? Yeah. All right. Here's what we want you guys to discuss next. How do we lead an effective life group? How do we lead an effective life group? Ready, set, go.
No, I mean, we're gonna follow up, but the main thing is I was just up earlier during crazy day time. Did they say anything else to make you really know? PDA comes up all the time, so we'll find a couple of days out. We'll find time. Yeah. So we were a solution of it. So if I was to find a leader with another person, I go back all the way to I also want, when we get into the deep, I'm looking for my daughter who's in ministry, who's at high school, who's in college. So I try to not, for me, there's more than just, we don't want them in the wrong place to worship. If I saw a senior with family, I'm going to be paying more attention to that because it's like, hey, you know, I mean, he's covered it to, it's more for us. I mean, having more eyes. I mean, the only time, so that's why I popped in really quick during that because it wasn't, you know, I think she does a great job. The question that I sent down that we have to respond. I mean, I just sent things to Shannon there as everybody around the house. So these are wicked. Steve and I, like, there's just a thing that's up there. They're 19 now. And I got all the 19 people. You know, like, I have no idea. And I assume they have. But, like, if Leon.
Okay, 9 seconds. Okay. Hey, real quick before we answer this question, hey Bonnie, will you stand This is Bonnie Harding. Does everyone know Bonnie? Bonnie is a teacher at TR High. You've been at North Hills for a long time. How many years?
Since I was a senior in high school and I graduated in '09, so
Hey, 2009. So you're 41?
no.
Okay, you are. Okay, so I forgot one really helpful thing with culture. So Bonnie, will you just talk a little bit about who you specifically come for at Alive and who that student is and how we can be aware and partner with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like not to throw you out under the bus. Does anybody like actually recognize me from walking around here? I'm not a leader. I'm not a life group leader. Okay, we got about half the hands in the room. So I'm actually a buddy. I am a buddy for a student who's in a wheelchair. She is in 7th grade. I am here to make sure everything is accessible for her. I am her voice, essentially. And so today, that's kind of what I'm going to do. I really wanted to pipe up for the last question with creating a culture for Orange and Red here. So our sweet girl's going into 8th grade. And I don't know if you know this, but we have several unique abilities in our youth group of students. And so like Tim said, I'm a special education teacher at Travelers Rest High School, so it's kind of my job to advocate, but also like it's just my heart too. Eve was not going to come to youth group unless I came with her because she was super familiar with me. So for her to be able to be a part of this like amazing program, I was like, yeah, I'm going to stop teaching Treehouse on Sunday morning and I'm going to come here every Sunday night so I can do this with her. This past year was really an awesome year to get to see her grow in her life group over here in 7th grade. Last year, 7th grade, 8th grade this year. One thing that Riley and I were kind of talking about, Riley and I have been with her since she was in 5th grade in Treehouse, and we've moved up every year with her, so she's comfortable with the two of us. But one thing we've noticed is that the girls in our group are comfortable with her because they've been with her since 5th grade. But I really would love to just shepherd this culture of inclusivity, not just with other students, but also with like leaders as well. She loves to talk. So if you want to talk to her. Like, she's in here for dollar dinner. Say hey, ask her name. She would love to have a conversation with you. Some of her favorite things she will gladly tell you about. She brings a speech device with her too. That's preloaded with a lot of stuff that she wants to talk about. So just talk to her. So that would be just a huge thing for me. Nick and Tim have both done a phenomenal job of taking all the things that I try not to complain about, but just voice some thoughts on, and are really, really trying to grow the program for more than just our neurotypical kiddos, you know? So if you have questions, please ask me. I'm always happy to help. I'm happy to give my thoughts on something and just say where we can help out. But just talking, just saying, hey, encouraging your kiddos to talk to her too, because she comes in here and nobody wants to, like, they all just like ditch her around. I mean, you guys see them, when we have 9 Square up here, it's like a hot mess with the dollar dinner and 9 Square, and she's just coming in, and she has a spot here that's set aside for her, but a lot of people don't realize that like the spot right next to her is so I can be with her. So then we have to end up going to the back because there's not a spot next to her, kind of thing. So just shepherding this like, it doesn't have to be a, guys, make sure you include even things. It's like, you know, just that encouragement of like all people. Somebody said it earlier with our new kiddos coming in, like inclusive of our new friends, inclusive of everybody, kind of thing. So that's just where my heart is. So
one of the things I love to do for Eve is tell people to get out of their way. I get a fun one. I'm like, hey, Eve's trying to get pizza. Like, you're cutting in front of her. Like, that's my stupid Tim Wadsworth way of trying to make her feel important. That you can't cut in front of her because she's down here in a wheelchair. Like, it's easy to miss her. Hey, ding dongs, love her. She's here, see her, like advocate for her, kind of thing. So anyway, that's how I do it. I don't know if that's helpful.
sorry, I did it on my own. I do it for helping. So
good. Like building's falling apart. Okay, question number 4. We got to fly because then Titus and Kareem have something awesome to share with us. That'll be really, really great. But how to lead effective small groups. We want to hear from you. Go.
Ask good questions, stay quiet, listen.
Okay, Pilar just taught this lesson. Ask good questions, be quiet, be a good listener. Ask good questions. I love phrasing it this way. Be curious. Man, when you're curious, the parents in the room, you get this. You gotta be curious because that's gonna help get kind of the things moving, right? Open-ended questions can be really, really tricky. Yes, no, good, bad. Like, we've got to become skilled question askers, which means we have to be skilled, awkward silence listeners. Lauren.
I think another thing with that is when a student asks a question, it's not like, you're like, not helpful to turn that to the group rather than answering it, because most of these kids are growing up in church and like they are forming their own beliefs and it gives them the ability to conversate and respectfully disagree rather than answering it. And even that can be true too, like if a student says something, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I love that, interesting, like turn that to the too, like that's not
So good. So, Kareem, he was saying if a student asks a question, maybe try and get the other students in the room to answer that question. Because again, that sentence I used with you guys, sometimes the greatest wisdom is already sitting in the room. Like, try and do that with your life group leaders. I also like asking, what made you ask that question? That can also, well, the reason why I'm asking that is because boop, 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 boop. They really got to the heart of their question. So, what else came to mind about effective small group leading? Yeah.
I think that the answer is different depending on the age group. Asking good questions I have found works great as your kids get older, but if you ask the question in 7th grade, the answer is going to turn into Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets.
It's good.
I think being prepared for the maturity level of your group, and one of the things that we were talking about is if you come into 7th and 8th grade expecting to have deep theological conversation, really
Guys, hear this.
you're going to end up feeling like a failure and disappointing yourself and frustrated with the kids. And so I think depending on where you are, you need to come in with the right expectations.
Good, Ryan. Welcome back, brother. That's awesome. Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna say, like, as they age and mature though, like, having higher expectations of their involvement in life group. Because I think, like, I learned, I think the hard way with my last group of students, when we got to senior year, and they were really unprepared for senior year and what that looks like, and then being involved in life group more than just answering questions. And so I think, like, one of the things Kareem has really talked with, like, this specific group of girls we have right now, a lot about is like, hey, you take ownership, you're old enough now, you know, like, you're invested enough now, you take some of those interests, so setting them up for success with that.
I love that. If you're a life group leader, this is kind of how I'm wired. I'm going to find, and we have a lot more Jacob Baileys than we think. I know he's just been kind of the first of just an anomaly of a teenager, so we almost use his name like we kind of do a Joe LaPena. We throw that around to talk about a type. If I'm a life group leader, I'm looking at a kid going, hey, in 4 weeks, you're leading. In 4 weeks, you're doing this, watch how I do it, and you're doing it. Like, that's just kind of how I am. And so, Hannah, that made me think of that. And don't just look for the loudest voice in the room. Like, we hear this at SOU all the time, and I'm trying to teach Judah and Levi this because they think leadership is loud. They think leadership is, everyone shut up and listen to me. And I'm going, no, actually, Judah Levi, the greatest leaders I know are the quiet ones. They're the lions that you didn't know were lions. So sometimes you got that lion in your room, they're just really quiet, and they have a lot to offer. So I would even push back and say effective small group leading is finding those Jacob Baileys, the Ben Fawcett's, the Jay Cronins, like some of these winners, and going, you're doing it next time. Okay, what else? Yeah.
When you do answer questions, respond to questions, and not just
capitalize on gospel conversations. Guys, we're gonna have kids that just say things that are probably theologically or gospel-centered off. That's so, I mean, on one level it's not okay, but it's their age, right? Like, I'm 41 and in an elder meeting got corrected on something I was trying to say, but when they corrected me, I went, actually, that's what I was trying to say. That was actually helpful. But we don't want to do it in a way that embarrasses them. Like, we don't want to do it in a way that makes them hesitate from speaking up next time. But that's huge, bringing everything back to Scripture. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I think giving space to the kids that you know have to be here versus the kids that want to be here, and understanding how every age of those looks different.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation for a different day. But we are unique, guys. Our kids have to go to life groups. Can you imagine if we made every adult go into a life group? How crazy of dynamics that would be for all the life groups in our church. So that's a huge thing for us to consider an effective small group leader.
Graciously and firmly directing their attention. So we talked about moving the conversation back on topic, but also with those middle school boys, I won't name too many names, but I have a middle school boy, but working with them to direct their attention in a way that's not hurtful, like shaming them, but is like, no, we're not playing your football paper game right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about Jesus and what Nick just preached on.
So I love that. So this is just what I do if I'm a small group leader. Sometimes your biggest distraction is your biggest leader in disguise. So I love putting my arm around them when life group is over and going, hey man, I need you to help me. You're a leader. You're not a good leader, but you're a leader, and you're not helping me. You're not helping me, and I need you to help me. Would you mind being on my team? So then when they are being a knucklehead next week, you can say, hey, you're on my team. And they're going to know that conversation. What I'm trying to do is empower them, and Nick can speak more into this because I'm not saying this is just a middle school thing. Knuckleheads are in high school as well. But Karen, that's what I try and do is bring them in to where we're not playing tug of war. We then pull on the same road together, which I think is helpful.
Yeah, there are, between what Ryan and Gabby and Karen, a couple others have shared that I've pointed to, is that asking good questions definitely looks different from 7th grade to 8th grade, 9th grade, all the way to senior year. Middle school leaders, what that means for you is you're gonna have to prepare more. You're gonna have to work harder to come up with more specific questions, even if the preparation of the questions that I give you, I try to give as much as I can that'll kind of break things down. But we were at camp 2 weeks ago, and there was a student I really had to kind of intervene with and kind of keep on track, and I ended up sitting there with him through his quiet time just because of the situation. But what really surprised me about that scenario was that he gave an incredible amount from his heart of what was actually on the topic at hand, because we really got into some very, very specific questions about whatever it was we were talking about. And so for middle school, well, the nice thing about senior year, it's like, hey, what did you guys get out of tonight? And they'll start rattling stuff off. If you ask that question in 7th grade, you're not gonna get an answer. So what that means is you're gonna have to learn your girls, you're gonna have to learn your guys, and start asking questions that are gonna draw, because they have stuff to say. The button's on top.
Gabby, it's way up top.
She can't reach it.
Sorry, I asked her if she'd get me a bottle of water, and I forgot about that.
It's on the side of the alarm. Anyway.
Can you tell people steal in our church?
It's kind of scary. Even over the summer, we've had an incredible amount of loss even in the summer. We haven't been in here. That's another topic for another day. So, back to questions. For middle school, and I would say this for high school, if you find your 10th grade boys are having a hard time giving you answers, maybe you need to be asking more pointed questions. Maybe ask them something, more direct about the scripture or the teaching or whatever. So all that to say is, prepare ahead of time. And during service, be writing notes. And we talked about this in our team meeting. We didn't really, I don't think we quite got to it just because we really need to roll. But modeling worship is also something that we want to create as a culture here within our life group leaders. In that, what I want to build on is during service, whenever Tim or I'm speaking or whoever, write notes, take notes down, which is helpful to teach our kids, but it's also going to be helpful for you to be like, man, I've got 10 crappy questions here. Okay, well, let me take my own notes and build on that and make it cater it to your kids.
I got one thing.
Do it, Steve. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, this is not important at all, but I'm in technology sales. I run meetings all over the state. This did not come from me, but I think this is super valuable. When you are in a meeting and you are wanting to really feel like you got to say something, think of these 3 questions. Do I need to say it? Do I need to say it now? And does it have to come from me? So do I need to say something? Do I need to say it now? And does it need to come from me? Because 9 times out of 10, if another student says something, oh man, it just lit up the room. It didn't come from me. And do I need to speak? Why am I saying anything? I'm here for, in my world, it's, if the customer hasn't said anything, this meeting is useless. And now I gotta go back to my boss and say, it didn't even, I gotta try and get another meeting with this guy. But do I need to say something? Do I need to say it now? And does it need to come from me?
You gave me goosebumps. That was really good, Steve.
Okay,
Last thing. Be intentional with follow-up. Be intentional with follow-up. We can ask questions, and then they answer it and spill their guts, and then we're MIA. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we skip, we're Saturday, and then we skip a Sunday, and then that's low-hanging fruit to, hey, text, how was your math test? I was praying for you. Follow up with them. Hey, you said home life is crazy. Was it crazy today? They're giving you the easy, low-hanging fruit things as follow-up. I mean, that's just shame on us if they're spilling their guts, and then we just don't do anything with it. And then we just forget and move on in the rat race of youth group and then just keep plowing through Sunday. So, team, anything else?
Yeah, I have 2 things super fast. One, it was something that was mentioned first off from somebody over here about being quiet. Was that Pilar who said that, about being quiet? I would love for Paul Hobbs to speak into the art of being quiet, because I think his group has kind of perfected that, the art of the awkward moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Paul.
Yeah, so I think in 7th grade, we just nailed the awkward silence by saying, hey, it's going to be awkward and weird to sit here and look at each other and not goof off. And then you're just quiet. It's not that you don't have an answer, they just need to see quietness. And then other times, that's where you're looking at. I've never had a time where we ask a hard question, it's quiet, after 30 seconds, which feels like 20 minutes. And then you say, hey Les, what do you think about that? And every time they have me. Every time. So I think being intentional in calling on them in that, but that silence is then we don't like this, we do have stuff to say, and then they start cranking. And as many of you know, we didn't have that much of an issue in 7th grade with that. And that then creates the environment. It's so beautiful to see now our seniors getting ready to dump into these younger grades. But just being quiet, it's so hard. Because you guys have great answers. But when the other students, and you guys alluded to this, one of our students said last year, hey, I see that we're this person's spilling their guts. And then we're okay, let's pray and move on. Instead of allowing the others to speak into that. And that's where we talked about letting the other students speak in and be wrong. This is the place to do that. And then there's all kinds of discipleship going from leader to leader, leader to student, students among themselves, because we want them to be called.
That's good.
The other thing that the art of the pause gives is, if you're a person like me, the moment somebody says something, I've got a response because my brain's just firing. But some students are not like that. It takes them a moment to process. And the art of the pause allows them to do that. Because, you know, you've probably called on students, like you're asking the question and immediately you're like, okay, tell us what you have. And he might be like, he probably has something great to say, but might have to take a moment to think about it. And so the art of the pause allows that. So that was the first thing, thanks, Paul. And the second thing I would really encourage you is that when there is that awkward silence, I think leaders have a tendency to feel like they have to answer because nobody else is. Be wary of that. I would say, to Steve's point, does it need to be said? Do I need to say it? The answer is probably no. Your students have something to say.
No, I love that. And I think too, and then we're going to move on. As you get relational equity with them, I think you can probe more into the resistance of answering the questions. So sometimes I'll ask my boys a question and they'll kind of not know how to answer. And I go, come on, you know, what happened at Uncle Matt's house? And they're like, oh yeah. Like I'm almost poking them to get the flow moving. And as you grow with your kids, you're going to know what's going on in school. You're going to know what's going on at home. So when you ask the question and they might be processing, if you are going, in your mind, you're saying unacceptable, try and do something to get their minds moving of what has happened in the past. Are y'all with me? I think that's a skilled person of a vet of a leader who can ask questions. Is, hey, well, how would you have answered that this time last year when this and this went down at your school? Then you go, oh yeah, actually, right? So we got to be really, really skilled with that. Okay, so thank you guys so much for helping us with those 4 questions. What I want to do next is revisit leadership structure. So remember like 2, 3, maybe 18 years ago, I came to you with like, hey, this is going to be the new structure of leadership, and George and Joe and Titus and so many of us that were conceiving this had no idea how long it would take to mature and get tweaked. But we want to introduce to you some new structures of leadership and kind of some job descriptions. So what works really well in anything that's being asked is clarity of what certain people do versus other people. The barometer of what Tim Wadsworth does from Greg Babbitt, it comes from my job description. And we've hired you to do this. How are we doing? And so we want to bring clarity with some leadership structures. So I know this is the most redneck thing I've ever done, but I did take a picture of the marker board. Yep, this. So we snuck away. We snuck away for a live brainstorming retreat for a couple days. Huh? What?
The chat will take that whole thing for you.
I'm a boomer in a millennial mind. So what we have done is effectively we have 2 people in a small group, and you guys can clean up anything you feel like I'm not communicating well. Moving forward, we have blue pieces and we have orange pieces. Now, some of the stuff up there is not accurate, but every group. What just happened? Oh, interesting. Yeah. Every group is getting a group leader. And the group leader is overseeing the orange pieces, which are the frontline leaders. Quintessential no-show grow. Now, those blue pieces are going to be very important to help the orange pieces thrive. A blue piece is not better than an orange piece. The frontline leaders, which are the orange, you are so important. We're giving you a group leader who's in the blue. Okay? Now, the blue leader moves from grade to grade. If you remember a couple years ago, we were going to talk about blue pieces were going to be the staple, the pillar. They were going to stay. That's only going to be unique to the senior class with what we have set up with Joe and George. Okay? But the blue piece is we are going to call the group leader. Now, sometimes parents will come to me and go, hey, who's actually leading my kid's life group? And I'll go, all 8 of them. And they go, yeah, but who's in charge? Like, even the parent knows someone's leading this. If someone comes to me now and goes, who is leading this life group? I have one name of who is leading, but they are not superior. They don't trump. They're not better, but they are the ones that the leadership team will be leaning into heavily to be the group leader. The orange piece, we want to set you up for success and do everything we can, blue piece to a live staff, to help you thrive and do really, really well. So we have group leaders, we have frontline leaders with those job descriptions. Titus, would you like to kind of walk through blue, orange, or Kareen? I'm happy to do it, but I know this is kind of an us thing. I don't want to. Mabel?
Essentially, the frontline leaders are the boots on the ground, which is the majority of you guys. If you look at this structure right here, this is what we're thinking that we kind of our hope, our expectation for everybody in here, whether you are blue or orange. This is kind of what we're looking at. And actually, what the really cool thing is, when we were in our discussion questions, you guys mentioned the majority of these things, which is really exciting. You talked about showing up. You talked about time with your students. A few other things too to think about is partnering with the parents. That's really, really important. So our encouragement would be, there's a lot of you in each group as leaders. We would really encourage you guys to talk amongst yourselves and to take your group and kind of not split them up because you're trying to play favorites, but so that everybody has somebody they're pouring into, or that like there's no child left behind essentially. I know that means something else, but that's kind of our meaning of it. We're making sure that all the students have somebody that is attentive to them and looking for them, and maybe even a good contact for parents, because all of you guys, this is not your primary job. You have lots of other things going on in your life. So we want to make sure that somebody is contacting parents, and it's not like, oh, I thought he or she were going to contact the parents. No, I know my responsibility. I've got these 7 students, and so I'm going to contact the parents, get to know them, that kind of thing. So you're partnering with parents. You're helping to ID any drama that may be happening within your group. I know this happens probably more so with the girls than the guys, but it does also happen with the guys as well. And the idea, the last one that says travel, so Tim, you can speak into this as well. I think different people are doing different things. We have several people that stay in middle school. I know Tom Gilbert does, Gabby does, and some other people just do 7th and 8th grade. Others just want to do high school. And if you want to do all 6 years, that's kind of the legacy idea. Did I miss anything with that, Tim? Okay, so this is kind of what we expect from everybody. On the showing up, you can also include responding on PCO. That's for everyone. To help you guys a little bit, we're going to the blue piece, which is the group leader. If you can zoom in on that one. Oh yeah, you know that better than I do. All right, so the idea being, again, not that one is better than the other. It's just helping with structure, because we want to make sure that you guys are cared for, we want to make sure that you guys are poured into, and we want to make sure that everything's being taken care of. We've crossed our I's and dotted our I's and crossed our T's. Yeah, there you go. The group leader is basically, we're hoping that they embody just a really solid, great leader. They're the ones that are truly modeling, well, everybody should be modeling No Show Grow, but they're basically the point person of the grade, as Tim said. They will have a lot of communication with Tim. Not that all of you guys can go to Tim, obviously, but in particular, if there's an issue that really needs to be known, it helps Tim in his time if just one person can go to him, kind of thing about that. And also, it's the idea to help oversee some of the other leaders. Some of you guys are new to leading, and some of you are not, or maybe just to help shepherd a little bit within your group, and that's kind of the idea of the group leader. Have I missed anything? Timmy?
So, let's identify who will be the group leader in your life group, and then what that group leader is going to do to serve the rest of you as the frontline leader. So for 7th grade guys, Dean Walker is our blue piece. 8th grade guys, Nick Ruby, group leader. What did I say? My bad. Group leader. In 9th grade, Lauren Pegram. 10th grade guys, Jack Bember. 11th grade will be Josh McCarnan. 12th grade, Paul Hobbs. 12th grade with Paul Hobbs. And then with females, Kara. 7th grade girls now said your maiden name, Kara Lyons, not Kara Francine. Kara. 8th grade, Pilar. 9th grade, Sarah Brantley. 10th grade, Margaret Stiegel. 11th grade, Hannah Green. And 12th grade, Suze Ruby. So these people had been put in place to just look at of a primary role of point person of the grade. So many times there has been a little bit of unnecessary drama of one leader wanting to do one thing one way, but getting maybe equal pushback from everyone in the grade. The blue pieces are operating with empowerment to make that call on behalf of me as I personally disciple those blue pieces. So if a blue piece walks in and says, hey, for this week we're going to divide and conquer, that's just what we're doing. Because I've talked with those blue pieces, that's what I'm wanting to get executed, but they're serving you to let you know and to bring clarity into the life group. If I have a parent calls and they want questions or they want to meet concerning that life group, guys, I'm not in there. I don't know, but that blue piece knows that that parent can reach out to more of the heartbeat and pulse of that small group. Responsible for regular communication with parents and frontline leaders, eyes and ears for my grade. When it says report to Tim, I don't like that word. These are just people that me and them, we're doing well with being on the same level, wavelength of what's going on in that group, and authority to oversee frontline leaders, accountability for those leaders. So the blue piece is going to be the one that's going to come to me and say, hey, this person's a flake. They're just not showing up, Tim. I'm in here. I know. You need to know. Hey, Tim, as a blue piece, I just want to let you know they're not asking questions. They're talking way too much. And I go, hey, that's super helpful. Thank you for being my eyes and ears. Now, that doesn't mean orange pieces, you can't hold blue pieces accountable, right? If the blue piece is being a knucklehead, that doesn't mean you just have to keep quiet. Like, you're welcome to come to me and kind of let me know. But it's to set up frontline leadership for success. You want to say something? Yep.
Carissa just had a really great question. She said, well, the students know this. This is more for you leadership because we don't want to have it be like, well, we don't know because we're not in leadership. No, this is just to help serve you guys. You're all the same to the students. It's just to mitigate some potential issues or to help things flow better. You bring clarity, all the things.
Okay. And then for orange pieces, those frontline leaders, we've talked about showing up consistently. I think that connect with 2-3 students weekly is going to be really good. Like, the blue pieces will help with that follow-up. Like, okay, hey, these 2-3 kids weren't here. Who's following up? Becky, on it. Atta girl, get it. Like, helping, making sure that some of these things are happening. Hey, contact family or student when they're missing. Absent student reports matter. I think the greatest thing a frontline leader can do, hey guys, if I'm just being real, if I text an 8th grade girl and go, where have you been? I haven't seen you. That sounds like the principal. Like, where have you been? Come, I want my numbers higher. No, but if Candace texts one of her girls and go, girl, in a Candace way, where have you been? I missed you. They're just like, girl, I've been busy with, and it just works. They just do their thing. Do you see how you as a frontline leader are in a much healthier position of doing this than me? When I do it, it's like I'm the principal sometimes, but I think it's going to be really important for us to be following up with those weekly students. I think even where it says contact family, I want to empower you to have open eyes on Sunday mornings. Open eyes on Sunday mornings. Guys, I'm going to church on Sunday, but you better believe I'm looking for the mom and dad to the kid who is in this room. So when I see them, I can go, hey, I love having your kid at youth group. Like I do this with every parent. I just love them. They're so great. This, that, and the other. Hey, real quick, are you getting the weekly parent emails? I'm asking that question because they're not reading it. I know they're not. I just want to see how they answer it. Hey, did you know that we have an 8th grade group event coming up? Really? Yeah. I'll make sure that, I'm trying to look for them. So as a shepherd, even on Sundays or any opportunities in the church, be trying to look for ways to connect with mom and dad. The blue piece will be really helpful with sending out a bi-quarterly email to parents, which I will coach them on to make that an effective way of communicating. But eyes and ears for that grade. I think this will bring helpful structure to our leadership team in a way that I don't know if we've had that before. But any questions from you guys before I turn it over to Titus to speak more into this? Good. Great segue to you. Let's give it up for old Titus Vance.
So I was given the task to kind of do the why, and so many of my points were already covered, so I hope I don't belabor it. But our team, they invited me to go with them over the summer to Woodlands and talk about some of the things that were coming up this year. And I'm just thankful to be in the room. So thank you to them for inviting me into that. I shared with them, and I'm going to share with you all, where I'm at this year. As we were there, we were talking through some of the whys, and this is just my heart, and I'm going to share it with you all, coming from Luke chapter 2, and if you blink, you're going to miss it. Chapter 2, verses 25, starting in verse 25. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. This man was a righteous and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel. Anybody know what that means? Quick, some of our Bible scholars here. What was the consolation of Israel? Jesus, right? He was waiting for the Messiah. Waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him, and it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. And he came in the Spirit, which it has just been an amazing study for me recently, is just, what does that mean to be in the Spirit on the Lord's Day? And he came in the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him according to the custom of the law, he took him up in his arms and blessed God and said, Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace according to your word, for my eyes have seen your salvation, that you have prepared in the presence of all peoples a light for revelation to the Gentiles and for glory to your people, Israel. And I don't know about you all, but I feel a little bit like Simeon this year. That's my feeling this year, is I just want to be in the room when something awesome happens. I just want to witness it, right? When the Holy Spirit rushes over them. And you know, you've seen this, right? When God changes their hearts. And sometimes when they go from death to life, And you get to be a part of it. And that's what I'm praying this year, just for me, is that I would get to witness it. I would get to witness the consolation of Israel to these teens. That God would do a mighty work. And I'm really sorry that I get really teary lately about some of this stuff. But I think the vision that we have is that God would change our students' lives. And that brings me to the why. As we've talked through this, I tried to boil it down. Some of the things we've already belabored, I don't want to hit those things. But our mission is lifelong disciples. Our mission is lifelong disciples. Our mission is to make lifelong disciples of Jesus Christ. And do you know who else's goal that is? Leaders. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, their parents. Your students' parents. And so why do I say that? It's because we believe that parents are the primary disciplers of students. They're the primary God-given disciplers of students. And so we come alongside and we want to partner with families and with parents, right? So our goal is to train up students whose faith has been nurtured in the home, God willing. It doesn't always happen, right? But God willing, it'd be nurtured in the home. Shepherded by the church, that's us. Big church, sorry, Green. Integrated into the church and sustained in lifelong faithfulness. So that's our mission in here. It's not that they would go through 4 or 6 years of alive and then leave and we never see them again. We want to see them be faithful followers of Jesus lifelong. Right? We want them sitting here. We want them sitting here leading the next generation. Right? Our method is through the shepherding relationships that we have. Right? Students are shaped by the people they walk with. Right? Proverbs talks a lot about that wise walk with wise. If you want to be wise, you walk with wise people. Right? That's you all. You all here to walk with them as wise counsel so that they become wise. We've said this before, more is caught than taught. Right? That's why it was so important. Like when we're standing here, they want to see, they're looking to you as an example of how to worship, of how to listen when somebody's speaking, having your Bible with you, whether it's digital or physical, having that there with you so you're being an example, more is caught than taught. And then our structure is going to hit kind of what Karina and I are wanting to do this year. We want to help you all be the best leaders you can be. Healthy shepherds need healthy support, and that's the way we see you all. Is your shepherding. You've been given a real privilege to shepherd these students' precious lives. So we want to give you really, really good support. Every leader should have someone intentionally investing in them, right? So we want to come alongside you all. We exist as life group coaches, I guess that's what we're calling ourselves, to encourage, to equip, and develop you all as much as you all want that. And part of what we're going to do is, I don't know, are you hitting this? What we're doing this? Okay, we want to be in your groups with you all, because we want to expect, right? We told you what we're expecting, but we want to inspect what we expect. We want to come alongside you all just to help support and help pray for you all. It'd be a great time. Like, hey, we just had this thing mentioned. Like, how do follow up with that. And some of you all are so great at this, but we want to be here to support. Lastly, healthier leaders create healthier life groups, and healthier life groups help form healthier students. So that's why we're here, and that's why we're talking about some of these changes, and that's the why.
Yeah, as Titus said, one of the ways that we talked about when we were talking about developing this structure is then how can we help you? And a very practical way is if you had somebody that came alongside you, as Titus just explained, to help encourage you, coach you, give some good feedback, just some very practical ways that we can help you and pour into you. Because, as I said earlier, I believe with my whole heart that every single one of you, and I've been around the student ministry for a really long time, and it hasn't always been this case, but I believe that every one of you are here because you want to be here, to do exactly what Titus just described, to shepherd the next generation. And yet, leading small group discussion is not inherently something we know how to do. We want to do it. Sometimes it's hard. How do we facilitate that? There are whole courses that people give developing on how to lead a group and how to facilitate good, healthy group discussions. And so we want to be able to give you guys the tools to be able to do what we're asking you to do. And so in talking about that this year, Titus and I, and maybe somebody else, I don't remember, but for now, just Titus and I are going to, our job this year is going to be as life group coaches to come and help you guys to grow and to give you the tools that you need. I want to pause real quick because that really sounds like you're being evaluated. And I guess in a little sense, maybe you are, but only to help you grow. It's not to sit there to judge or to say that we're better than you are. We want to help give you guys the tools to do that. Tim is one person. He can't do all this by himself. So we're going to join and be kind of Tim's eyes and ears for that and help you guys to grow and be like, 7th grade girls, this is what you guys need. But seniors, you guys are different. You guys might need this or, whatever. 10th grade girls or whatever it might be. Like each of you needs something different. How can we help you? How can we come alongside you? So my job is to give you what we're going to do so that you know what to expect and then how we plan to do it. I will tell you this, that with the small groups that I lead, that we call D groups, I usually come to them and say, I have a plan, and I'm going like this with it. I'm going to hold my plan very loosely because my plan might change, and we want to be receptive to what the Holy Spirit has to say and how He might lead and change and grow, so that we can help you guys do that better. So Titus and I have a plan. This is how we're going to start out. It might change and it might morph a little bit. Don't let that throw you. But this is what we plan to do. So as Titus said, this is just. I lost my notes. Okay, basically we want to be able to help with this structure of the group leaders and the frontline leaders. So we want to just help you guys figure out who's responsible for what, because that's a new change for you guys. And we don't want to just say, here's this, like pulling a pin out of a grenade and throwing it in and be like, okay, deal with it, deal with the after effects. We want to be able to help you guys do that. We want to be able to help provide clarity in roles and the expectations that we have for you guys, what that looks like for each grade. It's going to be different for 8th grade girls than it will be for 11th grade guys. We want to help you with training, like to come alongside you. So sometimes our leader meeting that we might have once a month, it might be something that Titus and I lead that particular night, being like, hey, we've noticed this, and I think that everybody has this same struggle or this same thing that they're wrestling with. I think we need some training in this kind of thing. And so we might use our leader meeting to do that. So that's what we're going to do to provide clarity. Why we're going to do it, Titus already explained that. How we plan on doing it, and this is where you guys might have some questions, and we'll take some questions in a minute. First of all, Titus and I are going to come in, and we want to sit in on your life group. That means that you might have me sitting in on some of the guys' life groups, and you might have Titus sitting in on some of the girls' life groups. Now, I know that sometimes that can be weird and awkward, and we've talked about the pros and cons of that, but we both feel like there is value in that. We know that sometimes there's some sensitive subjects that are discussed, but that's not usually every week, and we're not going to be in your life group every week. Probably we've written out all the different dates that we have life group for this particular semester, and I think we might be able to get to each life group once. That's our goal, that's our hope, to be able to do that. So there will only be one time when I might be in a guy's life group, and maybe we won't be talking about sensitive issues in that case, or Titus will be in a girl's life group, and we won't talk about sensitive issues there. But there are some times that it might be helpful to have a guy's perspective or a girl's perspective in that. So our goal is to communicate to you guys that, hey, either he or I or the two of us together might be coming in your life group. We are not there to lead your life group. We're just going to sit back and observe. Now, I want to give you guys just a quick thing. If you know anything about me, you have seen that I have a notebook that I literally bring everywhere. This is what I write. I write everything down in this. Good, bad, ugly, things to do, thoughts, whatever it might be. You will see me having, I don't know about Titus, but you'll see me having this in there. Please do not think I'm writing anything bad down. I'm not. I have to do it from my brain. I've had, Lex, you were one of my D group girls, you know that for years I wrote everything down, and I'd be like, okay, so last time we talked about blah, blah, blah. Like, this is what I have to do for my own brain. So I know I'm a teacher, or was a teacher. I was also an evaluator, and so I would have, you see people go, and you're like, oh, I just did something wrong. You did not do something wrong. If you see me writing down in my notebook, it's because I need it for my own brain. I don't know what Titus will do, but please don't assume I'm a terrible leader, I've done something wrong, whatever. That's not the point. The point is so we can give you feedback, right? Because you can't grow if you don't know there's something you need to work on. Or maybe there's something that we thought, that was fantastic. Every life group needs to know that. Nick Ruby is stellar here. And he just gave a great question that I think every life group leader needs to know. And I might write that down. Or Titus might write that down. So please do not sit there and think that we are evaluating you for good, bad, or ugly. That's not the point. It's how can we help you grow? How can we help come alongside you? Maybe it's, man, Tim needs to let the life group leaders know that they have the freedom to do blah, blah, blah. So we're giving feedback is what we're doing. So that's the first thing. But we will tell you if we're coming to your life group. Please, please, please do not do anything differently. Okay, I know that it feels like if somebody's coming in to watch you, that you're like, oh, okay, hang on, I gotta straighten up a little bit. Hello, students. And you start giving your very best. We're not asking for that. Be who you are, be real, pretend like we're not there. We're just gonna sit there and observe. But it's okay to acknowledge to the students, like, hey, we've got Titus or Kareem sitting with us today, that's great. Hey guys, how's your week going? Or however you start out your life group. Sometimes, like I said, it's going to be both of us. Sometimes it's just going to be one of us. We would like to, when we come to your life group, we'd like to debrief with you guys for about 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. Because that way it will be fresh on all of our minds. If we need to talk about anything that might be sensitive, maybe child safety or just an issue that maybe it is theology or something like that, and we need to pull one of you aside, we will do that. But in general, we'll just meet all together as leaders. Don't do anything differently. And the other thing too is we would like to help give you guys some good resources. So you might get an email from either Titus or I, and if that's the case, you do not need to scroll down and to click confirm or decline. Right? But we might just try to give you some good information. We'd like to help you guys with questions, because I think that's the biggest thing, is how do you ask good questions? And I'm going to give you one little phrase right now for everybody to use in your life group. That it's gold. It's 2 words. Tell me. If you ask a student, what'd you do? How was your week? What are they going to say? Good, fine. What happens to the conversation? It dies right then and there. But if you were to say, tell me, Sarah, tell me what was the best part of your week? Or, Margaret, tell me your favorite color. Or Sam, tell me how you came to Jesus. Or like something like that. Like, tell me, those are golden words. And it encourages, it pulls out responses from students. So that's the one little gift I'm going to give you for right now. I think that's all I have for right now.